Hello everybody, welcome back to Expedition Homestead. Today is May 26th and well, with these warmer temperatures that we've been getting lately, our bean plants are about ready to explode with growth. So with that explosion of growth, we want to provide a trellis for them, and that's what today's video is going to be all about. So these are pole beans that I have on the furthest north row here in this planter. All of the other beans are going to be bush beans, so those don't need a trellis, while these pole beans do. We want to utilize the natural growing habits of those pole beans to save some space in the garden. And also by providing a trellis, they're just going to grow so much better, and they're also very easy to harvest. So we save space, we maximize the growth of the plant, and we provide some great harvests for the family. First things first, there's a couple of different ways that you can create this trellis in the first place. One is just by taking these 2x2s right here and screwing them right into the raised garden bed. And the other option that we have over here, which we're utilizing for our tomato plants, because of course we're trellising our tomatoes as well, is we've got a T-post pound in the ground right here, and then we have a larger 2x1 going up the side of it, and these are just zip tied into the T-post. Really, it's kind of a horse apiece. It kind of depends on what you have on hand. I basically try to piece together everything I can utilizing the resources that we have already. So if I have some leftover wood here or there, I'll try and use that, and the same thing with the T-posts. If I've got leftover T-posts, I will use them. If not, I'll screw them right into the garden bed like we did here. This is the material that we'll be putting in between our 2x2s on our bean garden bed. This is called, usually call it hog paneling, hog fencing. This is just basically a 4 inch by 1.5 inch grid fencing that you can use. I recommend using this instead of something like chicken wire, because chicken wire can be a little bit harder to handle than this stuff, where forming this to the trellis that you want and keeping it there and using it for multiple years in a row is going to be a lot easier using this hog fencing compared to chicken wire. So we've got a section of this paneling, and I'm sure you can imagine what we're going to do next. We're just going to take the fencing and zip tie one side to it. I use zip ties with all of my stuff whenever I can because they're super easy to just strap on like that. And the plastic is recyclable in most cases. Easy installation, easy cleanup, and they're fairly cheap as well. We will just use 3 zip ties on each side. All right, so here we have the fencing attached to our wooden post there. I will also add one little strip up at the top because one paneling was not quite tall enough. We've got a few more feet up on there, and I'm sure that our beans are going to grow to at least that height. So again, this last row here, these are all our pole beans, so those will be growing up here. The rest in the garden bed are all bush beans, and then we have some pole beans growing alongside some corn as a cool little experiment. Another cool little product that you can use to trellis your beans, peas, tomatoes, all kinds of plants would be this bird netting that you can buy off of Amazon, or you can probably find it at your local garden supply center as well. This is just a nylon string net that has squares that are about maybe 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. This stuff is strong, durable, and also pretty easy to put up. To show you guys a little bit closer, we are growing our peas on this bird netting here. We just screwed the 2x2s onto the side of the garden bed, and then we've got a row of peas on each side of the 2 rows of netting here. They are doing incredibly well. The netting was very easy to install as well, and they're going to give us a great harvest this year without a doubt. Last but not least, and probably the cheapest option out of all the above, would be just to use the poles. So instead of using the fencing or the bird netting, all you would do was set poles up along your raised garden bed where the beans are growing, either in a TP type fashion or just straight up and down, and your pole beans will grow up along them. I mean, they're not called pole beans for no reason, right? Thank you all so much for watching today's episode. If you've not done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. We've got a ton of awesome content for you guys year round. Happy gardening, and we'll see you in the next episode.